I'd like to show you some of the things we do with our Cork Lathe. Our Cork Lathe comes with a motor stand and 2 roller supports. You have to supply the drill, but we recommend a drill that turns 2,500 RPMs and draws around 6 amps. 6 amps means power, and you need that to turn cork. You know, whenever I build up a rod with cork rings, I glue the cork rings right on the blank. I'll put a couple of bushings on about a 5 or 6 inch shaft, steel shaft, and shove that rod right up on there. You get a good tapered fit that really will hold the rod strong. Notice we put a little masking tape on that reel seat and on the blank right in front of the foregrip to protect it from the sandpaper. We put a little masking tape about 3/4 of the way out on the rod blank. You need that protection when you're turning it at 2,500 RPMs. Don't put that clamp too tight, just snug it up. Make sure and give yourself a little room to work on that foregrip. Line up your motor and your 2 roller supports with the edge of the table and clamp them down. You need different grits of sandpaper ranging from 50 up to 400. Here's a cool trick for getting different widths of sandpaper. Mount a hacksaw blade on a board and rip it off. Okay, now it's time to turn down this little ultralight grip. I like to turn down this little grip because it's fast, and if you can turn down this grip, you can turn down any grip. You got to start out with a little 50 or 60 and do most of your shaping with that. We've got to turn down the back end of that grip to accept a butt cap. I use some pretty heavy 60 grit cloth back paper to turn that down, and it's exactly 3/4 of an inch wide, so I can really tell how deep I need to go. Then I'll switch over to my finer grips to finish this thing up. You know, notice a lot of dust flying off there. I always wear a dust mask when I'm turning down cork handles. And I'll work my way through my grits, kind of finish it up with a little 400. Man, I really do love to turn down cork grips. That's one of my favorite things in rod building. You know, I slide that grip right off that mandrel while the motor is still turning, and push that butt cap on, and man, that looks pretty good. Something else we do with this little lathe is work with EVA grips. We'll slide a grip up onto an old rod blank and cut us a foregrip to length. Pull the piece off we don't need and take a little sandpaper and shape this grip up the same way we shape up cork on the lathe. And the EVA works the same. Sand it real good with the different grits. There we got a complete grip. It's ready to glue up. Now I'd like to show you how to turn down a full Wales grip for a fly rod. We copy it right out of our fly rod book. You use 50 grit to really clean up that cork straight first. Then you switch over to a narrow 50 grit to do those concave sections, and clean it up with your finer grits after you get it all shaped. Finish it up with a little 400 grit. Some guys even use 600 grit. Take it out of there and it matches up with our drawing really well. We also worked with pre-shaped cork grips to make custom links. You have to cut that grip to where it fits inside that reel seat a little bit. We take that knife and cut that grip to length the same way we cut our EVA earlier. And we take the sandpaper and sand a little step in there to go inside that reel seat. Slide that reel seat right on that grip. You can see we made a custom length grip that matches the one we're copying really well. You know, we made a video on making power reamers, and if you haven't seen that, maybe you ought to go back and check it out. We will use a cable tie to regulate that drill down to about 1,000 RPMs because you don't want 2,500 RPMs when you're power reaming. Okay, now we have a small pre-shaped cork grip that's going on a small rod, so we can go straight to the reamer with that. And we've got a reamer that matches the taper of our rod. We slide that grip up on there and check it every now and then, make sure it's going to fit your rod right. You can always take off a little bit more. Slide that foregrip up on there, and you can't get much easier than that. You know, another thing we do on the Cork Lathe is ream cork rings. We slide 4 of them at a time up on a reamer that matches the taper of our rod. See that little mark there that shows how far we're going to slide those rings up the reamer. And we'll lay our reel seat out there to mark that space for the foregrip and slide that up on there. Then we'll slide them onto our rod. You want them not to be too tight. That baby's ready to glue up. I hope you got something out of our little demo on using the Cork Lathe. I always like to say that there's about 10 ways to skin a cat, And that holds true in rod building also.